Libra, it's May 2019. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. Take a look at your horoscope this month. Mercury and Venus, your ruler, in the 7th house, kicking the month off. And this is a strong focus on your relationships, especially in the first part of the month. And that picks up a little more energy with the entry of the moon there on the 2nd and 3rd of the month. So here we see you spending time communicating, giving a little more attention to your more significant relationships, and that against the backdrop of some of these rather hard aspects that we see there. Perhaps it's necessary for you to enter into some deeper, meaningful conversations. And why do I say that? Well, there's a couple of points here. Firstly, the very hard and tight aspects here to Mercury from Saturn, retrograde along with Pluto, and Jupiter also here, either side of the 4th sector, which is your family and domestic sphere. So there could be some pressure there that requires you to open up some dialogue, maybe dialogue that has been for some time swept, or the necessity for it swept under the rug. The moon also moves to the 8th house and is excited by this Uranus-Sun combination. That's another factor here, the 8th house, which has to do with all things hidden, shared resources, sexuality and intimacy. So it's a good time to be addressing those issues. And this is particularly important for you, Libra, because of the new moon taking place here in this 8th house. The new moon tends to open up a whole lot of new opportunities, new insights, and in particular this area of the horoscope shows us that this may have to do with psychological affairs, sexual affairs, all of those hidden or taboo issues that we skirt around usually. Now take a look here. Mars is contacted by the moon leading up to May 8th. This is in the 9th house. Mars there is related to your significant partners, and that shows us issues surrounding travel, issues related to principles and ideals as well. So this could also entail resolution on that side of things. You want to make sure that you're both on the same page. There may be differences stylistically or in terms of ideology. So you need to sort that stuff out. Mars is moving up high in the chart, which is good. Moon is a precursor to this later transit of Mars in your career sector. And one thing I noted here was the important transit of the karmic point, what we call the North Node or Rahu, in your 10th house currently. So a lot of decision making, a lot of soul searching, I think, would be another way to look at it in terms of who you are as a person in relationship to the work that you're doing. The moon making contact there on the 9th and 10th brings that into focus. And then of course the transits of Mercury, and you'll see shortly there Venus into that 8th house simultaneously with Mars moving into the 10th house. So yet again, it's important to realize this month, Libra, that your level of research and seeking out the truth of some matter is going to be instrumental, I feel, in helping you attain success, not just in this relationship and domestic area of your life, but also here in the career realm. We see here Venus making a fine aspect to Mars here around the 16th. That also has to do with passions, relationships, that sort of thing. Just going back a moment there, we see the full moon taking place in your finance sector. So it could be a shift away from the question of relationships to finances in the last week and a half of the month. And one point I failed to mention was this very hard aspect of Mars against Jupiter. That's passed by the middle of the month, and that has to do with excessive efforts at what you're doing. And being in this third house of communication, you mustn't try too hard. Sit back a little bit, especially here. You may be tempted around the 20th to offer more than is necessary, to ingratiate yourself to people. That could be as a result of some confusion here in this relationship with Neptune, workplace activities. Again, we saw that this Mars pushes you more into the area of career. And I think at that same time, although I mentioned this 8th house centering strongly on matters of intimacy, it is also to do with shared finances up until the 21st, 22nd, when both Mercury and the Sun move into this 9th house. Now, it could be an opportune moment for some of you to engage in some new studies or to plan your journey. 9th house is long journeys, and also a good time if you're seeking out a mentor or someone that can help you further your ambitions in any area that you so choose. 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, some heavy energy here with the moon transiting the retrograde Saturn, retrograde Pluto. This, I mentioned on a few occasions, is shaking up things in your domestic sphere. Saturn is your best planet, according to some systems of astrology. So I'm thinking that whatever's happening in your home life, even if it's a little tense or troublesome for now, is ultimately for the best. Moon moves through the 5th on 24th, 25th, very creative period here. It's sort of a lone moon, so I suspect this may not be a collaborative exercise, but there will be some collaboration here which may trigger you in some ways because of these hard aspects from Mercury to the Sun on the 27th. And again, that's relating to your workplace activities, people that work with you, in particular people that work under you, your subordinates. So if you're in the role of communicator or boss or manager, more attention to the detail of not only what you're saying to others, but the content, not just the content, but the way you deliver that, I think is an important point to consider. And the last couple of days, moon transits that 7th house, again bringing you back into full connection with your nearest and dearest. And finally, the transit to that 8th house on the very last day of the month, again opening up the intimacy question, or could that be a can of worms? I'm not sure. In any case, full of surprises with the conjunction of Uranus. More at astrology.com.au. Hope you'll join me there. Contact me here, subscribe, all that stuff. Love to see you here again next month. Look forward to that. In the meantime, take care. Bye-bye now, Libra.